What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to go over some Amazon PPC strategies that will help you not only increase your sales, but also simultaneously lower your ACoS. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and if you're on YouTube, click the alert notification. That way, as I give more tips like this, you'll get notified. Now, I know it's been a while since I've produced a video like this, but the team and I have been working really hard recently on bringing you guys some amazing new Amazon software tools that will help you improve your business. So stay tuned for some of these new updates. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the training now. So what I wanted to show you guys was basically the progression of true Amazon PPC optimization, because a lot of sellers think, in the first 30 days that they're going to hit their sales target at their premium price, and that's just not realistic. What's realistic is planning for the long term. So we got this client back in February, and you can see when we got them, the sales were around 181, and that first month that we had them, we basically 10x their sales for March. And so what I wanted you to pay attention to, though, was this sort of linear direction of the sales and the return on ad spend. And what you can notice is at the very bottom, you can see as the months progress, right? It's February, March, April, all the way till today. You can see that this growth is going up consistently and strong. You don't see any spikes or any sort of fluctuations that indicate that this has been a fluke. This has been slow and steady, and this is actually winning the race for this particular client. And it's actually winning the case for most of our clients who are also thinking long term. So now the next thing I wanted to show you was the actual ACoS. Now when we look at the ACoS, you can see that, again, month after month, it's continually going down with a starting point of 34%. All the way fast forward to today, we're at 8%. And again, as you can see, as the months progress, it's continually going down, which is the direction we want the ACoS to go. Simultaneously, which is what I wanted to show you as well, was the sales actually are also going up. So what I wanted to demonstrate is that it's actually possible for you to get that V, that sideways V of sales going in one direction, which should be up, and ACoS going in the other direction, right? Should be going down. It is possible, and that's why I wanted to show you it's not a quick turnaround. This is long-term planning and long-term optimization processes. So now let's go ahead and get into how we've been able to accomplish these variables and this performance for this client. So one of the first strategies that I want you to pay attention to would be to first improve your click-through rate. This is one of the first things we did for this client. We optimized their listings and improved their click-through rate, because with a low click-through rate, you're going to get less impressions, and the clicks you do get are going to get very expensive. What a high click-through rate is basically a higher relevancy on the specific product placements and keywords that you're targeting. And so if you see that the CTR is high, odds are you're going to be performing much better on those placements than if the CTR is low. So the very first thing you want to do is have a base generalization on the listing for improving your CTR. And the fastest way to do that would be to optimize your listings. So that means doing keyword research and ensuring that you have the necessary keywords inside your listing, and also make sure that your price is competitive, okay? If you have a competitive price point, it'll be much easier for you to get a higher click-through rate, because you're going to be more competitive relative to some of the other prices that your competitors have. And the third thing that will help you improve your click-through rate would be your images. So also make sure your images are professionally taken. And well, you think of it this way: when you're looking for products, the first thing you're looking at is the image, really. Then you'll look at the title, and then you'll look at everything else. So the image is also crucially important to improving your click-through rate. And this is one of the first things we did for this client, was we optimized the listing fully in the very first month, which allowed us to improve the click-through rate. Because when customers now land on the listing, they see the relevancy, it's selling to them. So now they're like, okay, this solves my needs. Let me go ahead and purchase this product because the images look great, the sales price is competitive, and it has the things I'm looking for. So you have the right keywords that your ideal client is looking for. The second Amazon PPC strategy that we implemented for this client was we consistently tested different bid levels. So the very first month that we started with this client, the very first month, we had the bids 30% below Amazon's suggested bid because the client's goal was to get the lowest ACoS first. They wanted to just to see if we can get a super low ACoS, and then they wanted to focus on amplifying that success by boosting their sales. So our number one priority was first lowering the ACoS for the client. So for you to do this in your business, simply the fastest way to do this would be to look at what your bids are and just take them down 30% below what Amazon's suggesting. So if Amazon is suggesting $1 bid for a particular keyword, I would drop that bid to 70 cents, which is that 30% drop, and focus on seeing what results you get for 15 to 30 days. So for this client, that first phase, the first 2 months, I would say we had the bids 30% below Amazon's suggested bid. And then once we were able to get the ACoS to a satisfactory level for the client, then the client wanted to focus on increasing their sales. So at that point, what we did was we transitioned the bids to Amazon's suggested bid. So after the second month, we put the bids from 30% below to now we're doing Amazon's recommended bid. So in this case, it would be $1, for example. We did that for about 3 months. And now what the client wanted to do is they really wanted to capitalize on more impressions for Q4. So they wanted us to be a little bit more aggressive. So for the past couple months, where we've had the bids is 30% above Amazon's suggested bid. So that there was really 3 phases to this entire bid strategy. The first few months, 30% below, and then we moved to Amazon's suggested bid, and now we're a little bit more aggressive and we're doing 30% above Amazon's suggested bid. In some cases, we're doing 50% more than Amazon's suggested bid. It just really depends on how well certain keywords are performing. But the fastest way for you to implement this in your business is to see, okay, what keywords have an ACoS that's above your break-even point. Okay, so those are the first keywords that you want to focus on dropping the ACoS. If you're still getting sales, but you just want to drop the ACoS, I would start with a 30% reduction in the bid level from what they're currently at, okay? Then test that out for 15 to 30 days, and then you can move back to, depending on how the sales have been, if the ACoS was dropped and you still saw sales steadily come in, then you can transition to some of these other bid levels, which is Amazon's suggested bid, and then 30% above Amazon's suggested bid. Now, if you have some keywords that are doing extremely well, let's say below 10%, in that case, we're usually a little bit more generous with the bid that we use for those particular keywords, and we'll usually do 50% above Amazon's suggested bid. So if you go through your keywords, go ahead and do a brief audit, and all of the keywords or product targets that have an ACoS below 10%, try experimenting and increasing the bids on those particular placements by 50% to see if you can maximize the sales for those keywords, because what you're seeing is that that's a highly relevant search term or competitor's ASIN that you're targeting. And so what you want to do is you want to amplify the ad spend you're allocating to those top producers, so that way you can continually drive higher sales and you won't necessarily be paying top dollar for them. And the third Amazon PPC optimization strategy that we implemented for this client was actually diversifying their campaigns. So ideally, you want to target each match type per keyword. So Amazon app offers exact, broad, and phrase match types for keywords. Some sellers, depending on what your budget is, and if this is one of your first campaigns, you can put all 3 of those match types into different ad groups under one campaign. That's fine. And then once you start to see, okay, what particular ad group is performing better, then at that point you can build out a second campaign and just target that particular match type's keywords. So if you see one campaign has all of the keywords at the different match types, so one ad group is exact, one ad group is broad, and the third ad group is phrase, and you see that the phrase ad group is performing the best, then after about 30 days, I would build a second campaign and only put one ad group, and all the keywords in that ad group would be the phrase option. So that way you can maximize the impressions and ad spend for that particular match type. But what a lot of sellers don't do is they actually don't diversify their campaign structure. And so you can see we have about 5 campaigns for this client. We have auto, this is a product targeting ad, this is exact, phrase, and broad. So all of the keywords in all of these campaigns are only, for example, in the ZonRush exact campaign, it's only exact keywords. In the ZonRush phrase, ZonRush broad, only broad, and these are competitor ASINs. And we basically tested them for a few months, and we started to see that the auto and the exact match type were performing best. So we decided to pause these other ones and are letting them run. As you can see, these are some of the results for these particular campaigns. Now, what usually happens though is usually all 3 of these will perform really well, right? In this case, you would see them all highlighted. This particular client just had really specific ACoS targets for us to hit, so we just went ahead and turned some of these other campaigns off. So what you need to do is you also need to diversify your Amazon PPC campaigns, right? Because you have impressions available, but you won't necessarily know which one will perform best until you implement all of them and then start to see, okay, which one starts producing the best results. I would recommend waiting between 30 to 60 days before you start turning off campaigns. And instead, what you'll want to do is open up a campaign and just start turning off keywords or lowering bids, right? But the main thing I want you to focus on is we tested all of these different match types and we found a few winners, and we're just basically feeding the winners for now. In the future, we'll probably turn some of these other campaigns back on, but for now, I just wanted to show you how the actual diversification looks and how you should also implement some sort of structure like this for your own Amazon business. Now, if you want to listen to each one of these episodes on the go to the Savvy Amazon Sellers podcast. There's a link below in the description, which is hosted by ZonRush, and that's another way for you to get some of these awesome new trainings directly to your phone on the go. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video resourceful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That would sure mean a lot. And of course, as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.